Hey, this is Rudy Montez. We're actually here with Dr. Mike and Denny. Sir, how you guys doing today?
Good.
All right, so we're with Solution Stems, and we also have Denny here from North Carolina, and with Dr. Mike. Mike, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Mike Villa. I am a plant ecologist working in the hemp industry for since 2014. My background, I'm a plant ecologist and have been working in the field for about 25 years.
Okay.
I started with hemp in 2014, and it's kind of an interesting story because I've been an anti-cannabis person all of my life. Came from a very conservative family and really did not understand the health benefits of cannabis in any
Sure.
way. And an interesting story, one of my cousins, Casey Villa, was a dispensary owner, and we used to have a lot of discussion centered around cannabis.
Sure.
We went round and round because Casey is our master grower. He was a dispensary owner, no longer. He sold his dispensary in 2013 and came to grow hemp with me. And we started our company, Innovations in Science and Business, Research and Development, in 2014. We've grown successfully about 15 crops since that time, both indoor and outdoor. Mm-hmm. And we take the medicine from the plant, from the plant itself all the way to production of products. And I'll show you a few products.
Okay. And then when we're talking about the plants, we're actually talking where this comes into Denny.
Right.
You know, when this is where it starts out. Now, Denny, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a three-generation farmer. Been farming, and I've been farming all my life with tobacco, and in North Carolina, central part of North Carolina. And last year, it was made legal along the first of planting season, and we found out it through some friends of ours that they had a cannabis meeting or a
Hemp
meeting,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and we got really interested in it because tobacco seemed to me like was just going downhill every year. So we got into hunting for plants.
Yeah.
And Dr. Mike sent some plants to North Carolina, and we got those. And that was our first year. And we went into we planted them in the greenhouse, and we nursed them, and this year, we're going into the field this year.
Let me ask you this, Denny. Whenever you're talking about when Mike had brought the plants over, before that actually happened, what was going through your mind about kind of taking this new journey or this new adventure in your career as well as for the family?
Well, we really hadn't thought anything much about it. It just looked like it kind of fell in our lap. Mm-hmm. So we just took it and run with it.
Okay.
And we've developed the plants, Dr. Mike's, and we got the mother plants this year, and we're gonna grow clones from the mother plants.
Are we seeing a lot more changing from the tobacco to the hemp?
Well, everybody's looking at it. Everybody's looking at it in North Carolina.
Okay, I understood.
Yeah.
What's been really interesting since our time, Denny was one of our early adopters into the growing of the hemp. Mm-hmm. And Denny has really taken an approach that not a lot of other growers have taken. Mm-hmm. What Denny and his grandson Lloyd have been able to do is to be able to take those plants and learn them from the very beginning.
Sure.
So Denny bought plants that were originally intended to go into the field for crops to come back.
Okay.
But instead of doing that, Denny said, you know what, I want to learn about this plant. And so he has really taken that plant from the mother plant, learned how to produce clones at scale. Mm-hmm. So that we know that there's a huge need for CBD. CBD is an incredible cannabinoid that has a lot of, there's a lot of advantages to it. There's
Sure.
a lot of interest in the research. And we're a research and development company, and what Denny has been able to do is learn how to propagate those plants at scale so that we can increase the production value of those plants. And so he is not only producing clones for sale to other providers,
Sure.
but in terms of this process flow, he is actually one of our producers that is feeding these important cannabinoids back into our company,
system, yeah.
into our company,
Yeah.
so that we can formulate and develop additional products for use.
Okay.
For a lot of different things.
Denny, how big is your facility that we're talking about? How many plants can you be able to hold, and what are you shooting for?
Well, we got about 3,000 mother plants right now, and we're gonna clone off of them, and I think we can clone between 200 and 300,000 plants
Okay.
this season in 2 cuttings.
Okay.
So at 200, just to give some scale, 200,000 to 300,000 plants, we actually grow. Our planting schemes are between 1,000 and 1,200 plants per acre,
Okay.
which produces about 1,000 to 1,200 pounds of flour, which is the raw material that goes into our medicine. So, and I know I'm not supposed to say medicine.
Yep.
So
we cover that here.
right, we're covering that right off the bat. It is more of a nutritional supplement. But at 1,000 pounds to the acre, that produces about 300 kilograms of raw crude oil, which can be used to formulate the different products that we
Okay.
formulate.
Okay. Now, Denny, can you talk
Sure.
about the process of how it starts, the beginning of it, what the equipment you have, maybe the manpower that you have to actually accomplish this?
Well, it takes a lot of manpower to clone, because that's a real slow process. And we're gonna run about 20 people when we go to cloning, to do the cloning process.
Okay.
And you just cut clippings off of your mother plants and put them in trays.
No, I want to be able to get down into detail as far as like how it's actually, embedded in it to where it's actually to the end of the process,
Yeah.
from when it's actually born to actually when it's walking.
So the mother plant is cut at very specific places. And then those plants are rooted and they produce additional plants. Those additional plants that are produced from the cloning process then go into the field, and Denny and Lloyd take them from a field plant all the way to a harvestable plant. And that harvestable plant is what produces the cannabinoids that Denny is producing.
Okay, and you have a overhead shelter, is it open? Are we
Well,
looking
we grew tobacco plants in it for
Okay.
25 years in our greenhouses.
Okay.
And we converted them over to the growing, or keeping the mother plants under light. You have to keep them under a certain amount of light.
How many lights or something, something like this would be? Is it quite a bit of them?
Oh, yeah, quite a bit of them, because
Yeah.
it takes a lot of lights to keep it as close to the sunlight as you can.
Are you on some kind of a solar panels or?
No, we use it off the grid.
Yeah, that's a good bill right
Oh,
there.
yeah, it is. It's an expensive process. That's the reason these clones are really so expensive.
Okay, all right.
Because you got to keep that mother plant 365 days
Sure.
to get the clones off of it, say a month and a half.
Are we talking anything difference on the weather, Dr. Mike or Denny, as far as like, he already has that shelter? Is any kind of inclement weather?
Well, what Denny is really in an advantageous position because he is in the area of the country that produced a lot of tobacco. These plants do extremely well under those climatic conditions. So all of the tobacco area, what we have found through our research, it's an incredibly productive area to grow these plants. And Denny in particular, with all of his experience in growing additional or other crops, because Denny has grown tobacco, you've grown cotton, you've grown soybean, you've grown sweet potato, and a myriad of other crops.
Sure.
And so over time, what we have found is these producers that have been working with plants their entire life are really the, for lack of a better term, salt of the earth. They are the people that have produced food that we have consumed.
Sure.
And in a lot of respects, this cannabis plant, although it does produce these compounds that are very healthful, they're very similar to food crops in terms of the way that they are grown and in terms of the way that they interact with our body, our particular physiology.
Okay. Then where do you see yourself, in 5 years? Are you looking to actually do any more to expand that all and or to actually take it to a different level?
Well, the buildings that we got now, we're not quite got those completely filled up yet.
Yes, sir.
And we've got another greenhouse or two where we're, right now, our projection is trying to get full capacity of what we already have. And try not to go into no more debt than we have to.
Understood.
To grow these plants in a good manner, the way they're supposed to be grown.
Now, how did you guys link up together? I mean, how did that come about?
It's actually a pretty incredible story. So Denny was what I would call an early adopter for the cannabinoid or cannabis industry in North Carolina. We were connected with a group, a very important group in North Carolina called Hemp Inc. Bruce Perlowin is the owner of Hemp Inc. and has a vision, a pretty incredible vision for increasing hemp production all across North Carolina and the Southeast. And I was asked to do some work associated with the university to help educate the population on the conversion from traditional crops to hemp. And Denny was a student of Hemp Inc., went to a number of their classes, and we connected through a program called the Master Grower Program. And what Denny did with our plants was he took the plants that we sent to North Carolina in June of last year, and instead of putting them into production in a field manner, Denny actually wanted to learn about the plants and to produce clones so that not only was there a market for the clones, but he could produce his own clones for production in his own fields. And we have partnered up to produce some of the highest quality cannabinoid producing hemp in the country. And Denny has shown through time and persistence and a lot of money and effort.
And some mistakes
And
also.
some mistakes. And I will tell you that right away, since the beginning of this is not something that was an easy process. We had to learn about this plant. And Denny has been in that process with us since the beginning of the industry in North Carolina.
Okay.
And is producing some of what I would say are the best plants in the country right now.
That's great. How does that make you feel? When you're in a different league from everybody else.
Well, it's a lot of work to get there, to start with. But, you got a learning curve there. It's a sharp learning curve. And it makes you feel good when you complete it and you see the end product is a good end product.
What is your end product as far as like being able to help out with giving it back to the community, to do this for medicine, to do this?
Oh yeah, that's a great feeling. It hits you right here.
And I think that's what we're all here talking about, starting from the beginning to the end to where it's actually going to be helping out.
Yeah, and I'm proud to grow it because it's such a wonderful plant itself.
Okay. That's great.
Sure.
That's great. Well, that's awesome. We actually talked about Denny, Dr. Mike here. from the start and the beginning, from the beginning to the end of the process. Stay tuned. We're going to have another cover story. This is going to be going with Dr. Mike and our Vice President, Alan Johnson, talking about PTSD. We're veterans of Saluting Stems. This is Denny. Denny, what was your company again, sir?
Leaf Farms.
Leaf Farms, and we have Dr. Mike with.
Innovations in Science and Business, Research and Development.
Gentlemen, thank you again for your time. It was a pleasure.
All right.
Thank you very
you.
much.
Yes, sir.